I was so busy being successful that I didn't have time to be peaceful. I was so busy being successful, I didn't have time to be peaceful. And today, there's so many currencies. People think of money, right? How do we get more money? There's a lot of, how do I get more influence or, followers? And yet our company today, Brand Builders Group, we work with some of the biggest, most respected influencers in the world. People who have lots of money and have lots of fame. And I can tell you this, it's not the money or the fame that will ever fill that hole in your heart. In fact, I like to say that peace is the new profit. Peace is the new profit. What we want is peace. As leaders, we want peace, right? We want to feel like we are doing something that matters. We want to feel like our team has it under control. We want to feel like we have good people in place. We want to feel like we don't have to do everything ourselves. We want to feel like the work that we're doing as a team is something that's going to make a difference in the world. And we want to have peace about that. But the reality is there's conflict in teams. There's turnover. There's epidemics. There's bankruptcies. There's moral failures. There's things that change that we have to navigate and deal with. And in our personal life, what I'll say is there's nothing bad about success in general. I think success is great, but I used to think that the path to peace was to be more successful. And what I want to offer to you today is a new premise that I think, after working and being around amazing leaders like John and so many others, that I think the path to peace is not success. The path to peace is service. The peace that we all seek, the happiness, the joy that we all seek is on the other side of service. And again, it's not that success is bad. It's just that in my pursuit, and maybe this was just me, but in my pursuit of success, I was so ambitious. I was self-motivated. I was self-driven. And what happened was I inadvertently became self-centered. Self-centered. And what I now know is that my self-centeredness was holding me back, because there is a big difference between self-centered leaders and service-centered leaders. And what got me there as a performer was not the thing that would get me to the next level as a leader. And this is a table from my training. It's called Influential Leader. This is my capstone course on leadership development. It's something that I got a degree in leadership. I've spent, a couple decades studying leadership myself. I put this checklist together really in my own life to understand the difference between self-centered leaders and service-centered leaders. Things to remind myself, because as a self-centered leader, I used to try to be right. And then, mentors like John taught me that service-centered leaders try to do right. Self-centered leaders, they blame and deflect. Service-centered leaders, they own and resolve. Self-centered leaders focus on respect. Service-centered leaders only care about results. And this table was something that I had to put together to summarize some of these things, because I honestly like to take credit. That was something that service-centered leaders do. Or that's what self-centered leaders do. What service-centered leaders do is they share credit. And so this was a simple checklist, and I realized that there was a misnomer that I had. There was a bit of programming that was wrong in my brain. The human brain is just a set of neural pathways. Neuroscience teaches us that there's, these synapses fire and they form physical neural pathways in your brain that cause you to think certain ways. And you'll always think that way until somebody corrects you, or until some event happens that causes you to reshape your thinking. And that's why books are so powerful. Even though it may be something that you would think should be common sense, but it's not been common in the way you live, and it can change everything. What I used to pursue was achieving. And here's what I figured out. When you are achieving is good, right? Achieving is fine. Achieving is great. But when you are achieving, there are wins and there are losses. But when you are serving, there are only wins. When you are serving, there are only wins. High road leaders are focused on serving. It's the through line of the whole evening, of this whole presentation, of what you've heard from so many of the amazing speakers that we've had tonight. It's the through line of high road leadership is service. And when you build a company or when you build an organization, so often we hear about profit maximization. But I think high road leaders understand that at least experiencing peace in your business is not from achieving profit maximization. It's from achieving impact maximization. You can have lots of profits and still be incredibly stressful. In fact, sometimes growing profits makes you more stressful. Now, I'm not against profit. Don't get me wrong. I love profit. But if you are building an impact machine, then you always are going to win. We're focused on making a difference.